Please welcome Detroit Red Wings Executive Vice President, General Manager, and alternate Governor, Ken Holland. And now with the captains, Rob Blake and Nicholas Listrom, please come to center ice for ceremonial puck drop.
Windsor native, war veteran, Ty Tyson Award, Foster Hewitt Memorial Award, Michigan Sports Hall of Fame, and Hockey Hall of Fame honoree. Is this how you imagined your life when you were a kid?
What was that again now?
Was this how you imagined your life when you were a kid?
You mentioned all those things. I didn't know I was worthy of that. I'm flattered to be recognized, I guess, being around as long as I have been. But the most important thing is your fellow workers do the honoring. And when I went in the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1985, elected, I would say the first Foster Hewitt Award, which is kind of flattering because I knew Foster very, very well. Never dreamed that I'd have all those dust collectors.
All right. Next week is Remembrance Day in Canada, and you served Canada honorably in World War II. Can you just tell us a little bit about your experience in the war?
Well, I came from Hamilton, Ontario to CKLW in 1939, and Canada was at war in August that year. And Cam Ritchie and I went to CKLW and we joined the Essex Scottish 2nd Battalion. And then the next year, 1940, we decided to go active, volunteer. Went to officer school. And they sent us, of all places, the first time from Niagara-on-the-Lake to Prince George, British Columbia, on a troop train, 5.5 days. And the government at that time thought the Japs were setting fire to British Columbia. They've had forest fires up there, incendiary bombs, for years. And then when Dieppe came along, we lost a lot of our battalion from the Essex Scottish, and we officers were recruited and sent overseas right away to form another Essex Scottish battalion in Middleton-on-Sea in England. It was a thrill, and I enjoyed the Army. Went to a lot of schools, Army training schools, Bren gun carrier schools, weapon training schools right in England during the war years, Sandhurst. And I guess eventually I went to brigade headquarters as a camp captain then, and then eventually a major. And was fortunate enough to go into France on that famed D-Day, and it was a little hairy, like everybody says. No one was a hero, but we were on a Liberty ship first in the Channel, then into the English Channel, and the Mulberry was already in force there, and the Mulberry was like a barge sunk to the bed of the water where they could put tanks, ammunition, Bren gun carriers. If the Germans had known that, they could have bombed it and it would nullify the artillery we had. And when we landed, got on shore, we had to keep our weapons dry, Sten gun, rifles, and grenades. And we had to follow a yellow line because the engineers had demined some of it along the shoreline. And our first target was Carpiquet Airport, which was just inland. And the challenge was for our brigade, including the Polish Tank Brigade and the British and the Canadian, to take Carpiquet because they wanted to bring in the gliders and more ammunition and more food supplies. But every runway was mined, so the brilliant engineers had to go out and defuse all the mines there. They did it within 2 days. And then eventually we had taken Carpiquet, and then we went to Falaise Gap, and then over to Caen, C-A-E-N, and where I forgot to duck one day in the hedgerow with Brigadier Sherwood. We were looking for a German sniper at the time. And 88 millimeter went through my shoulder, and we were commando trained and took the shell dressing off the helmet in the hole, and luckily I didn't bleed to death. Got back to a farmhouse. That got hit on the side of the head too. We got back to the farmhouse, and right behind it, fortunately, was the first Canadian forward medical team. They had moved that far close to the front line that time. And they put me on the stretcher, and Father Mike Dalton was our chaplain from the Windsor area, and he was at brigade headquarters, and he took a look at the dog and said, "Yeah, it's you, bud." I said, "How's it look, Mike?" He said, "Well, better give you the last rites of the church." So I figured I was going to be in a shoebox or somewhere over there. But I survived, fortunately.
A good thing, too. So it was a good thing, too.
Well, it kept me going, I guess.
After you got back from the war, you started working with the Windsor Spitfires and were recruited to come over to the Wings by Jack Adams, the legend.
Well,
And what did he say to get you to come over here?
Well, it was Ty Tyson from the Detroit News. He was the broadcaster, a great man. And he wanted me to come over to produce sports shows, because I did a lot of work overseas, the BBC, and had done the Spitfires, of course. So when I come over to WWII, they were just getting into television then, and I went to a training camp at Sault Ste. Marie, and the radio, I worked with Alan Nagler, and they started to do television in November of that year, the 49-50 season. And I did the first Red Wing home televised game, play-by-play, against the New York Rangers. The final score was Detroit 7, Rangers no score. That year was very successful. 1949-50, quite a thrill for a one-armed bandit. 13th of April, the Stanley Cup was won. There were only 6 teams loading then, and we beat the Rangers in the 7th game at Olympia in 2 overtimes, and Pete the Vandal scored the winning goal. We never heard from Pete after that. He went back to Western Canada, and I guess he was treated royally for about 3 months, but he never came back to play hockey.
Was it special to be part of the Wings during that first season, or for them to win the Cup in your first season?
Well, it was a thrill beyond any hopes, and whoever thought that I'd be broadcasting in the NHL and going to the 6 cities, including Detroit, Chicago, New York, Boston, Montreal, and Toronto, and meeting some great people and getting to know the players. And in those days, what we do, I did anyway, I go down the dressing room before a game and ask the trainer how he wanted his name pronounced. So some of the French people, I didn't make trouble because I worked in Montreal and spoke a little French. And now in modern hockey today, the league comes out and gives you the phonetics of all the names. But a fan came up to me in the press box that Joe when I was doing the PA a couple of years ago, and said, "Bud, I got to ask a favor." I said, "What?" He said, "My boy's name is Smith." I said, "S-M-Y-T-H is Smith?" He said, "Yeah, that's the way he wants it pronounced." I said, "What happened to the Y?" He said, "My wife took it out."